Guys, here we are. You know, more and more people are online right now than have ever been online before. Coronavirus feels like it's shut down the world. Except, you know what, you guys? It hasn't. It really hasn't. My kids, they're going to school online. My husband, he set up an office over there in the toy room, and it's really business as usual here in the Kaminsky household. So this means that it is time to reach people where they are online, right? So as tutors, we used to be able to like post flyers and yard signs, but honestly, those aren't going to work as well right now, right? So we really need to focus on the tools that are available online to be able to get their attention, like blogging and live streaming, creating videos, all of this kind of stuff to be able to catch their attention. And I don't mean in a salesy, like hire me, woo, kind of like way, right? We gotta get a clear messaging out there, and then we need to be able to use the tools that are available to us. And you know what? Here's the best part: most of these tools that we're going to be sharing with you guys today are completely free. They don't cost you any money in order to have them in place. So today I've actually asked Suzanne Davis and Sam DiMercurio to join me and talk about the ways to be able to get students online. Now, both of them have also agreed to be a part of our marathon that we're hosting tomorrow. From 11:30 a.m. That's Central Time. If you don't know what Central Time is, just type in Chicago. You'll get it. It'll pop on up for you. And it will go all the way, get this, you guys, until 5 o'clock p.m. What? Somebody actually asked me, like, Joanne, do you plan on, I think it was you, Sam, do you plan on being on the computer like the entire time from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m.? Yeah, I really do. I'm skipping nap time, you guys, those that know me. I am skipping nap time. I may be cranky by 5 o'clock. We'll have to see. I don't know. You'll see what happens to Joanne. Is there another side of her that we've never seen before? You're just going to have to join us and see. Well, we've got Kathy in the house today. Hello, Kathy. Woo, woo. Awesome. So glad to be able to have you. If you are in the house, definitely let us know. We want to give you a shout out. Beth is in our Facebook group. For some reason, those comments don't come in front of me. I may even just like pop them up on my phone in a second here so that I
Yeah,
can
I've
see
got
what
them
you guys are
here.
doing. Awesome. We've got Beth here in the house. Awesome. Beth, please do me a favor. I know that people want a link to be able to join us tomorrow. They want to know all of the details. And I'm going to share some of those details with you right now because we have some amazing things in place. We're really going to start off tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. I finished tutoring, by the way, you guys, at 11:30 a.m. and then I'm going live immediately. So there might be like a 1 or 2 minute like buffer there, just so you know. But 11:30 a.m. is my suggested start time for myself, and I'm going to be talking about the state of the schools, about learning loss, what I see happening, what's kind of my take on that, and what can we do as tutors to be able to help solve this problem. And then I'm going to be having the amazing Terry Grigsby all in the house from 12 to 1. She's going to be talking about how do you get students today using some of these other like they're I call them really the quick methods, okay? They're not things that sometimes take a long time. Not that blogging or live streaming right now couldn't be a quick method. It absolutely can be a quick method. But some of the things that she's going to be talking about is how do I take advantage of referrals even if I don't have a tutoring business right now. She's going to be talking about Nextdoor. How do I put myself on Nextdoor without putting myself out there on Nextdoor? Can you get that one? Oh, you can't follow me there. If you can't follow me there, you have to show up to find out what in the world I'm even talking about, okay? And then we're going to be talking about Craigslist and buy sell trade sites, all of these tools that are just available to all of us as tutors for low or no cost. All right, and then at 1 o'clock, Suzanne will be joining us. She's going to join us to talk about really blogging to create awareness, but I think right now it's more than even just creating awareness about yourself. It is all about you guys blogging so that you have content that you can share that doesn't have the same message. Like it's a way for you to share value with your clients or your potential clients that are out there. Because if they your blogging gets to be kind of like a piece of the work. Like if they get a quick win from the what you are suggesting, they're going to want to hire you and get more wins like that. So we're going to be diving deeper on into that tomorrow with Suzanne. And then at 2:00, Sam's going to be joining us. He is going to be sharing with us the 3 secrets of live streaming, which we're doing right now. We're live streaming, and I would not be set up to be doing live streaming, by the way, without Sam right now. So he has me all set up right now on OBS. He helped me with putting all of the settings into place correctly because it can be a cranky little system, and he set me up with amazing success. So that I'm so grateful to him for being able to do that, because now I'm able to, even though Facebook is glitching right now, I'm on YouTube, I'm on my page, Become an Online Tutor, and well, I'm trying to be on Facebook, the group, the Ultimate Support Group, but you may have to come and visit us over at YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/Joanne Kaminsky if you're in one of those other places, and you will see automatically that I am live right now. And then it won't be as glitchy for you, because I'm not hearing that everyone is kind of glitchy. And Kim said, thank you guys for all being part of the event. Yeah, I agree. Thank you so much, you guys, for agreeing to do this, to agree to volunteer your time. Nobody tomorrow will be getting paid to be able to hold this event. We will be offering some programs that can offer you additional help if you choose to, but you're going to get so much free content tomorrow, you may be able to just come, learn, go. Some people are like that, right? And some people may need more help. We're here. We just want to let you know that we are here to be able to help you. In fact, I am just going to point out there that I've chatted with the members of our team, and we have agreed to be able to offer our coaching services for anybody who's not currently a member of our coaching services at 50% off. And that's going to share a link for you at that, because we want to be able to help you and secure your success. Now, you guys, I've been building up this entire community for a really long time, since 2012. But in the past year, I've added this new level, and that is coaches that are able to help tutors. Somebody that is reliable, that can help you in the quickest amount of time as possible and be able to give you that one-on-one support. Some people do great in group courses. Cool, we have that. Some people do better with one-on-one help. Great, we have that too. And this has been something that I've been building up over time, not just because of the current situation that we're on. So I really am grateful to the people that have said, yes, let's do this for people. Let's put ourselves on out there and help as many people as we possibly can. At 3:00 tomorrow, you guys, I'm going to be talking about YouTube. So I'm going to show you how you can turn your YouTube channel into a student getting machine. And it's actually one of the ways you're going to learn about it today, how I got one of my first students from Australia. So stay tuned, because I'm going to be sharing about that. And then at 3:30 tomorrow, we have Ashley DiMercurio and Alexa and Wally, and they're going to be talking about how do I manage my family as I am tutoring online. And from 4 to 5, I'm going to be talking about some different tools that you can use to be able to tutor online. So that is our agenda for tomorrow. Don't miss it. Come join us. It is going to be epic. First time ever that we're doing something. I'm going to have to set myself up here with a different kind of a station or something. I don't know. All right. So there's so much to learn, and we want to be able to support you guys as you are making this transition. So whether you've been tutoring in person or you're moving online, we are here for you. Maybe you're a teacher and you're like, you know what, this could be something I could do in addition to, if you're not already overwhelmed with what you have to do with your students and moving online. Cool, we can help you with that. Some of you have extra time now and you're like, you know what, I can put these pieces in place now. Awesome, we're here for you. So Suzanne, we're going to start with Suzanne. Thank you so much for joining us, Suzanne. You have been part of our community forever, girl.
Yes, and thank you for having me today. I'm so excited. I'm excited for today and even more excited for tomorrow.
I know, there's so much to be able to look forward to. I really do, like, inside of me right now, I know a lot of people are feeling like fear, desperation, like all this stuff. I don't know about you, but inside of me, I feel like a lot of excitement, and I feel like it's like a wrong feeling. Like I shouldn't be feeling this way, but I'm really excited about like how the world is turning to online to be able to really survive, continue to make an income. How are you feeling about all of this?
Well, I do have fear, but I
Yeah.
find that when I'm working and I'm taking control of what I can, and you can take control online, that it makes me feel much better.
Yeah.
And I can still work with my students, and they're stressed, but in that online session, we can calm down. We can
Hmm.
work together and kind of create this normal world.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's like business as usual when I'm working with my students. Like there's nothing is different whatsoever, you know. And when I get to mention to them, "Hey, we still get to work together like we always do," they're like, "Yay!" Right? Like nothing, absolutely nothing has changed for us because of this situation. You know, I haven't lost any students because of it, and I don't do any right now. I haven't been doing any marketing for my online tutoring business because I really have been stepping in this role of being able to support tutors. I still have 16 students that I tutor, but it's been absolutely an incredible experience. And I'm curious, before you started tutoring online, what was it like for you, like before, like that moment right before you found me in this community and all of that? What was it like for you?
Well, in the transition to what I was doing, like, okay, I had been teaching like university classes, but I really needed to change things. And so I thought, I'll stop doing that. It was so much stress and start this. And I was lost. Like before I joined the community, I watched and watched and watched a bunch of things and tried to absorb them, but I didn't know how to put them in place.
Mm-hmm.
And this completely changed it, within a day of really joining the community. I had my website done.
Oh my
So
gosh.
it made a huge difference. Yeah.
Wow, that is so cool. I don't think I ever knew that. That is
Yeah, I had
incredible.
the domain name for like months, and it was WordPress. I had a theme, but that was it.
Oh,
All of the writing
wow.
and everything.
All right, so when you got your first client, tell us what it was like for you.
I couldn't believe it. Like I really couldn't believe it. I was shocked. It it was in a tutoring directory, that first one, and I thought, oh, there's so many tutors out there. I put my website down, but I didn't think that that would actually lead to something right away,
Mm-hmm.
and it did. It
And it
was
did.
awesome. And I figured out that I could actually do it. I think before you have that first student, there's that doubt about the tools and what you can actually do with your teaching online.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm curious, you guys that are out there, I want to hear about what it was like for you when you were, before you got your first student. Share your story with us in the chat because I think there's a lot of people who they need to hear our story. Like, yeah, we were all scared at one point of having that first student. Like, I remember being scared about, well, will they be able to see what I'm sharing on my screen? Will the technology work? Will I be able to teach the same as I taught when I was in person? Like all of these things that just kind of naturally went through my mind. I hear the same things going through people's minds today, that they're struggling with that same stuff. And so you were able to make the transition. You worked with that first student, and then you had the bug, didn't you?
Yeah, because I found out that I tutor academic writing for those of you who don't know me.
Mm-hmm.
So at first, I wasn't sure if I could really go through the writing process. For those of you who teach writing, you probably heard of the writing process,
Mm-hmm.
and work with a student back and forth and get that feedback. And then I did it, and I found it was even better online, and that was really exciting to me.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. That's exactly the way that I felt. Like I do assessments with my students, so I find out exactly where they struggling, and then um I for 3 months follow them, and then I do another assessment to find out, okay, how am I doing with them? And when I found out I could close the gap a full year with 8 to 12 hours of instruction, I was like, whoa, hold the station here. Like, was this a fluke? Like, seriously, like, this is never, I've never seen this before. Now, you guys, I used to be in a position where I tracked data all the time, and we did a lot of tests in the school system. Never had I ever seen anything like that. So I'm not even saying like I'm so amazing, blah blah blah, right? Like that, it was because I was able to move online. Like, I was fearful that I wouldn't have as good of a success rate. So to find out that my fears were completely unqualified and flipped the switch in a whole new way, I was literally astounded. And it wasn't in the way of I'm so amazing, more just in the way of, wow, when we use technology the way it's meant to be used, some pretty incredible things can be done. And so you had found something similar. You had found that teaching writing was actually easier online because you use tools like you use different tools like Google Docs, where it's collaborative writing.
Exactly. And so when I would tutor one-on-one with student, the student would bring a piece of writing. We'd talk about it. We'd make marks and suggestions, give feedback. But then that student would have to go and work on it on his or her own, and come back. And it was much slower. Whereas I can be working at the same time on that same writing activity.
Mm-hmm.
I can give feedback here. We can talk through, we can make the changes as we're working on it, and do the activity together, and then coach somebody through doing that activity.
Right.
It's so much more powerful. And like you, I don't have a formative assessment with the level of writing that I do, but I could just see, like, I was amazed from looking at how somebody was writing sentences in the beginning to like 6 weeks later. And I was like, oh my gosh, this blows me away.
Yeah. Well, and you've got you don't do the same kind of assessment, but you do have data because you're able to take a look at that beginning piece of work they've done and compare it to the work that they're putting in now. That is very accurate data in my opinion, because you can see the sentence structure, forming correctly, and paragraph structure and all of that stuff. You can see it. That's
and
awesome.
For all different kinds of writing projects. Mm-hmm. I had a student who'd never written poetry before. We did like 4 sessions on poetry, and now I hope she gets to read at this poetry festival, but she was accepted into this big poetry festival in the area. So
maybe they'll do it online.
Maybe.
Everybody's moving online. It's amazing. So, you just never know at this point, like, why there's no need to cancel when we do have like this online format, right? It's pretty incredible that nobody really needs to cancel, which is really fantastic. So I'm curious. I know that you decided that you were going to start blogging as a way of like getting your name out there, what it is that you do, giving people tips and strategies. How did you decide to move with blogging?
Well, it was the least stressful of the options out there.
Right. And if you guys remember, she's an academic writing coach. So, that.
Right. But blogging is a completely different type of writing.
So true.
But
yes.
I did feel that because I've learned all of these other genres of writing, I could study it, write it, practice it, and keep getting better and grow as a blogger.
Right.
It's the same learning principle.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So you don't need to be an academic writing tutor in order to blog.
Actually, I think it makes it harder. I've seen really terrible blogs that are all academic language in these long paragraphs. And I think it makes it harder, where I've seen people who struggled with writing in school and they're fantastic bloggers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I just want to shout out to Clifford and Dipta. Thanks for joining us, you guys. So glad that
Mhm.
you are here. If we didn't have people like you guys here in the audience, there would be no need for us to be here. So we appreciate you guys being on out there. And if you guys have any questions at all, please feel free to type it on into the chat. We'd also love to know like who you are, where you're from, and what you tutor. So if you are listening to us right now, please provide that so that again we can welcome you and acknowledge you for being here. All right. So what are some of the mistakes that you see people make when it comes to blogging?
Well, like I was getting at just a second ago, the wrong kind of writing
Mm-hmm,
style.
mm-hmm.
Um, that's the big one, because they'll think about a blog post as if it's an essay,
Right.
and it's not an essay. And that to me is like, once I can work with somebody and open their eyes up to seeing that it's not an essay, that it's not the 5 paragraphs where you have the introduction with the thesis statement and all of that, then I feel like, okay, they're on the right track. Um, let's see. Another big mistake that people make is not knowing who they're writing to.
Mm,
They'll be writing to as if they're writing to teachers
yeah.
instead of writing to whoever your client is. If it's a parent needing help with something their child is doing, or if it's a student, like an older student like I work with, who needs help figuring out how to
Mm-hmm.
do something.
Yeah, absolutely. And so then if so yeah, so we've got the how do I almost have to write down versus writing up. And I know there are a lot of tutors, they struggle with that because they're like, well, if I write the way that I speak, then people aren't going to see me as educated as I am. I do have a lot of people who will fight me on that one,
Mhm.
and they don't understand that you need to really write. Would you say like what around like a fourth, fifth grade reading level?
Yes, definitely. That was what Hemingway wrote, and Hemingway wrote great literature. So, if Hemingway writes at things that are at a fourth or fifth grade level of understanding as far as the sentence and the vocabulary, then why aren't you?
Right,
Why aren't you?
right.
Why are you making it harder for people to understand something and learn something?
Now, when I wrote my very first book, which I did through a blog, by the way. So I did it through
Mhm.
a blog every single day. I was on like this 30-day like writing challenge, writing a new blog every day. So I wrote on my blog for 30 days and I knew I was going to turn it into a book. But when I was in that process of actually turning into a book, I had my fourth grader, my oldest one now. She's a junior in high school, but she was in fourth grade at the time. I had her read it through and say, tell me everything that you don't understand. Circle it, highlight it, do something on it, get my attention so that when I go through it again, I can make sure that I make it clear so that somebody at your reading level would understand it.
Mhm.
And and she was just looking at me like I was crazy. Like, Mom, you're crazy for wanting me to proofread your stuff. And I was like, well, I'm having other people proofread it too. But you're going to be able to tell me if you don't understand a concept that I've put on in here, right? Like I know what fluency is, but do you know what fluency is, right? If she knows what fluency is, we're good to go. I don't really need to go into any depth and explain it in detail or, compare it to something else. I wanted to know which of those kinds of terms that I was using that other people wouldn't know. So it worked out well, I think.
Right. If I were talking about second language writing acquisition in a blog post, people would be so lost they'd shut down hearing those words.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So right now, what are some of your favorite blogging tools that are out there?
I do love Hemingway Editor. That helps those of us that tend to write with a lot of academic language or a lot of sentences that are just long and confusing. It's a great tool as far as helping you make your writing clearer and easier to read. And it measures the grade level at which somebody can understand your writing. Um, So that's probably the number one tool I like. Otherwise, Grammarly. I
Mm.
use Grammarly, and they have the free version, which I think is pretty good. Grammarly now tells you tone as well. Like there's a little, if the text is long enough, there's a little emoji which kind of tells you the tone of whether something sounds really formal or whether it sounds really kind and those types of things. Plus, of course, it addresses your grammar, it addresses your spelling, it addresses your punctuation.
Mm-hmm.
So those are things you want to have somebody check with. Of course, I do advocate always editing and revising on your own
Yeah. Yeah, for
in
sure.
addition to.
Yeah, and tomorrow you're going to be sharing some more details on different tools during our marathon that different people can be using as well, which will be fantastic. Why do you think at this point in time that people should be blogging to try to get the attention of people to let them know they're out there?
Well, right now, people don't know how to teach. They're homeschooling their children. All of a sudden, they need resources. And if you can write blog posts that really help them, um, particularly when parents are paying for something, they're going to see you as that expert. You give them, like you said, that quick little win.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they realize they need more, you're the person who helped them with more. So I find it's a way of building up social proof and expertise. But if you can be blogging out there and helping people who are looking for things right now, immediately, I think I think that's going to be really, really powerful.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing a lot of people like the blogging world pick up again right now.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, I don't doubt that whatsoever. And if you think about it, there are certain tools that would be really helpful to parents right now. Imagine writing a review on that because everybody's looking for reviews on certain things, right? And so if you write a review on that tool, people could even find you just by typing in the name of that tool and review. They could find your blog post. So it's not even like impossible for people to find your stuff to
No,
be able to get more value out of it.
no. I always combine blogging with Pinterest. So, but I can talk about that just a little bit tomorrow.
Yeah.
But because that's where people are already searching for help and education resources. And a
Hmm.
lot of those people are your parents that homeschool or just want to be able to help their kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So why do you think people should attend our marathon tomorrow?
Because it's awesome. They're going to get like I really feel like they're going to get everything. I've taken Sam's live stream course. I've taken your YouTube class. And both of them have taught me so much about different ways to create content because I've had some really bad Facebook Lives. I've had some really bad YouTube videos. You know, they're the cure for insomnia. So to be able to get that from you and just I know the nuggets that you're going to be sharing with people, I think that's really helpful. I'm excited about the tools because I think that's another thing that people really get fearful of.
Hmm.
And I'm
Yeah,
excited to hear about how people balance things, especially now that work family balance is going to be very different.
it
And
is.
to have people who can give advice on that um, is really helpful. I think
Yeah.
Ashley has been ahead of the curve with working with her children
Hmm.
while doing the tutoring
Yeah, and for those that you don't know, Ashley is Sam's wife. She's been staying home and homeschooling and running her online reading tutoring business. So they have been in this position already. Like their life probably doesn't look too much different now that, the rest of us are all
no,
hunkered down. They're still hunkered down because that's what they've been doing since September. So
yeah, so I'm excited about that one
yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be really really cool. Awesome. Now, before we talk about YouTube, we got a couple of questions in here that I do want to be able to address. Um, I'm gonna come back on up to Anita. Really wanted to know. She says that she really aspires to do online math tutoring, but I couldn't get as how to get started to get students online. Though I knew about Zoom and BitPaper and writing tablet, kindly share a few words. And this is exactly what we're talking about today. We're talking about how can I be of value so that people know who I am. Okay. So one of the things that people don't realize is that this isn't about me saying this message. Hey, you guys, I'm an online tutor. Please hire me. I'm available. Or, hey, I have some open spots right now. If you know anybody, please spread the word, share my message, and let me know. Wrong message. Wrong message. The message is, how can I be of service and how can I be of value? Okay, so blogging is one of those ways. We're going to talk about how video is one of those ways and how live stream is one of those ways. So blogging, I get to share resources, tools, my opinions, my thoughts. How can I be of value? And then, oh, by the way, I also happen to tutor. So if you are looking for somebody to help you, it's like this little blurb like that you put like at the end, right? It's not this whole message. It's not the whole message. It's a teeny weeny little piece of the message that says, hey, by the way, if you're looking for someone, I can raise my hand and help. See, the biggest problem with tutors online is that it's not that they can't teach or they're not good tutors. It's that people do not know you exist. Okay. And the only way that they're ever going to know that you exist is if you're creating content. Now, tomorrow we're also going to be talking about some of those other ways, but today we're talking about specifically the content creation I can be putting on out there to be adding value. So blogging is one of those ways and videos are one of those ways. For sure. All right. So now I've actually transitioned it so that Suzanne's going to ask me some questions about video.
Absolutely. So, as I know, since I've been part of the community, you have been tutoring online forever. So I'm wondering if you could tell us about the first student that found you online and how they found you.
Yeah. You know what? I had begun doing this in the very, very beginning, adding value. And I thought, how can I get connected with schools and be of value? So I would actually go into the schools and I would do a read aloud or I would teach a comprehension strategy for free. It was just a way to be able to get out there in the world. I would record those sessions and I'd ask permission from the parents and that teacher to put it on my YouTube channel. And a lot of them said yes, that I could do that. And so I did. So then I started playing with some of the keywords and I played with one of the keywords, Australia, because I was actually connecting with a school in Australia. And guess what ended up happening? I got a student from Australia. So it wasn't a coincidence that I ended up getting that student. And I don't know how many other students I ended up getting because of this, but I did end up getting that one student who was a client of mine for 4 years. I will never forget it. Her name was Brooklyn. Her mom named her Brooklyn because she ended up coming to the United States when she was a kid in high school as a foreign exchange student. And she had a great experience here and she named her daughter Brooklyn. She also had 3 other children that I worked with throughout the years. And I even started working with her 3-year-old at the time, who was above the curve, already learning to read, but nobody really knew how to teach her. I started working with her in reading so that by the time she got into kindergarten, she was just like reading like these high level books that astounded people that she was able to do. And it was an amazing experience. I remember the very first call, you guys, I hear this bird in the background. And I was like, is that a bird I hear? And they're like, yeah, actually it was a bird that was hit on the road. And we decided to rescue it. And I was like, oh my gosh. They're like, let us show it to you. And it was like this parrot, like this like multicolored, like beautiful, like that's what birds look like in your area? Like, what? She's like, yeah. And she's like, yeah, we see these kinds of birds all the time over here. We live in a rainforest in Australia. And I was just like blown away. I was like, wow, this is so cool. And just even to hear like them say my name, Joanne. Hello, Joanne. I was always like, oh, I feel so proper, so prim and proper. It was an amazing experience to be able to work with them. And okay, so can I tell you guys the funniest story? My daughter is like right next to me, and I'm with Brooklyn. We're tutoring, and all of a sudden, Caitlin lets one out. A big one. And Brooklyn is dying laughing on the other side. And I just looked at Caitlin and I go, Caitlin, that was so loud. They heard you in Australia. We still laugh about that one today.
Oh, poor Caitlin.
Oh no. She loves it. She loves being known for farting. I mean, no poor Caitlin here. Like, she is not embarrassed whatsoever. she will fart nightly just to get a reaction from people. No fears there. I'm sure anybody who knows her and is friends with her would 100% agree with me that she's not shy about any of that kind of stuff. So that's all right. So we're all our own people. That's for sure. For sure.
So how did you decide to use video to get the word out there?
It was what I felt the most comfortable with. You know, at the end of the day, it felt easy for me to turn on the camera and talk to it. I love being able to present in front of large groups, and what larger group than YouTube, right? At that point in time, YouTube was very different, okay? It was like a place to store your videos. It wasn't like you built channels like you do today. But I would share my videos on there about like different reading strategies. I remember coming up with, I created 10 videos. 5 were questions that the most frequently asked questions that parents ask me. And 5 were based off of questions they should be asking me. And I had an entire series that I was able to share like right off the bat. They were all like, I don't know, 5-minute videos. They weren't long, but it was something that I felt was easy enough to be able to put on out there. You can still find those videos. They're still there today. So don't judge the production quality. I knew nothing about production. Again, it was just me getting the word out there about what it is that I do, and also providing value, because I was answering people's biggest questions. And that's something that I still do today, is I still create videos that are based off of people's questions. What do they want to know about? So you will find lots of content on how to find students on my channel, because that's obviously the very first question. So if you're like, how do I find students? Just type in students or getting students, like in my search bar on my channel, and you will see like a load of videos pop on up for you to be able to watch. But yeah, it's definitely different than when I got started. However, I think that it has the ability today to reach even more people than it did when I even got started. For sure.
So how is it different?
Well, today you really need to think about your messaging, right? It's not just like, I'm going to throw up all these videos and then next week I'm going to start selling tastefully simple products, right? Like, you really do have to have like a brand and an idea, an ideal client, very similar to your blogging, right? You need to have that ideal client. Who are you speaking to? And then you want to create like a welcome video. When people come to your channel, you want to welcome them and create a video where you're going to share with them what can they expect from you because they came to your channel. The next thing that you need to do is create a banner. Create a customized banner that's going to speak to your ideal client. It's great if you can have your image on there. There are some great tools that are on out there. Like, I could take a picture of me today and I could use the tool Remove BG and I can add it onto an image and it takes my background out. And it just has me like just there. So you may have seen something like that on my channel or other people's channels. And you're like, how do they do that? Remove BG, remove.bg. I think am I saying it? Is it BG? Now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm like, something like that. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Check it out. But it will, yeah, because it stands for background. BG is background. It's going to remove your background so you don't have that image. You don't have anything else distracting. It's just you, which is pretty cool, I think. At the end of the day, people want to see you. They don't want to see your logos. Like, your logo is cool, but you'll notice like my logo is real little on my stuff. And it's because my logo isn't the most important thing. Like, people want me. They want to see me. And, you know, there are people that are going to run into me that they just don't like me. And that is fine, you guys. Not everybody is going to like me. I totally understand that. And this is kind of one of the things that I've had to come to accept. I read in a book one time that you're beginning to get found when you first start getting criticism online. And so, like, for me, I now see it as like a fist pump. Like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Somebody said something negative. It means people are finding me, you know. And I just continue to put it into that mindset because people can be pretty crummy online. I'm really grateful that the majority of people that do leave responses and stuff, they are very positive versus negative responses on there. But I'll have people, they'll comment on my headset. Why do you have those huge honking headset on your head? Why do you keep using that? It's like, because they are noise reducing. It helps me to be able to focus. You know, I'm sorry you don't like them. But people see you, like, they end up seeing you now as, you know, somebody famous. Even my very first students that I ran into, they'd be like, I saw you on YouTube. And I had never met them in person before, but we had met online. And then when we like would meet in person, I would see people all of a sudden going like this, like, and then they'd come on up to me and they'd be like, are you Joanne Kaminsky? I'd be like, I am. Oh my gosh. And I would recognize who they are. I'm like, oh my gosh, how cool. And like we ran into each other. I would always take a selfie and be like, shh. But it was so funny how they kind of like treated me like this mini celebrity. And it still happens today. Like I ran into somebody at Six Flags and I had this guy be like, are you Joanne Kaminsky? And all of a sudden my kids are like, Mom, do you have a stalker? I'm like, no. And then we started talking about my YouTube channel. He's somebody who watches my YouTube channel and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, see, some people watch me on purpose. Like, and at that point, I think I had like, 2,000 subscribers or something. I'm like, oh, I'm famous with like maybe 2,000 people, but it's not anything huge. And my kids are like, oh, Mom. So yeah, it's actually been a lot of fun being able to do something like this. I love it. Yeah, go ahead.
So for the average tutor, I know a lot of people are intimidated by video. What can they do to have a successful channel?
I think of some content that you would be able to create. What's content that you think that your ideal client would get value from? And from there, don't ever be afraid to, if you have an email list or you want to create an email list, to have them download something free that you create for them to download so that you can stay in communication with them. YouTube is a tool that we can use to create a following. And this is something that I've done over the years, is created a following of people who want to continue to listen, get feedback, get ideas, get suggestions. And it's okay to do those kinds of things. It's not icky, it's not sleazy, it's not slimy. It's if people don't know what the next step is, they can't take it. So don't be afraid to say, hey, if you guys are looking to be able to set up a free consultation with me or a free assessment, click on the link in the description, right? It doesn't have to be sleazy. It's just like, look, I know some of you guys are going to work with me and I know that some of you aren't. That's okay, right? But you have to have a call to action. If you don't have a call to action, you are not going to see success. And you also want to engage. Remember, this is social media. So while YouTube is kind of like a search engine all in and of itself, you want to be engaging with people. So you've seen me actually like calling people out and trying to engage with them. We've got Kim in the house here, and we've got Heidi. Heidi actually just reached out to me this past weekend because she is a friend of a friend. So one of the first people that I was in a Bible study group that actually hired me as a tutor, I worked with her daughter for years and years and years. And recently, my friend Sarah was talking to Heidi and sharing about what it is that I do. And Heidi reached on out to me and said, hey, I'm a reading tutor too. I'm not looking to steal business. And I'm like, oh gosh, no, like, I'm not even worried about that. Like, I just want to be able to help you. Like, it's not about like stealing business. At the end of the day, this is all about us, all of us. I can't serve all the students in the world. It's not possible. There are so many kids that need reading help right now. I wouldn't be able to even handle all of the messages if I was even marketing my business for reading right now. But I shared with her some of the things that we're doing, like on Saturday, how we're holding like the hands-on workshop for people to get used to the tools, Zoom, BitPaper, even like some of the other tools like Wismo that you can use for reading, and some of the math sites and tools that you can utilize. And she joined us, and she signed up there. So I'm excited to be able to support you, Heidi. I'm glad that you found us. I'm glad that you reached out. We are all here to be able to help you guys. So, aw, she just said thank you. You've been very helpful. See, this is what it's about, you guys, okay? So, you are going to receive some negativity and some criticism, all right, when you put stuff out there. But don't let that stop you from serving the people you are meant to serve. I have to remind myself this all of the time, because it can really be frustrating when you do see a negative comment. So, my suggestion is, if you are going to use YouTube or you are going to use blogging, I want you to set up for yourself a tracking sheet of comments, and then like the naysayer kind of comments, things that you see in a negative light, like the positive and the negative, all right? And I want you to collect them all. Because here's the truth of it, people are going to give you way more positive feedback than negative. But it's the negative that plays in our head and goes over and over and over and over and over and over. And then we think, oh my gosh, I should quit. Because we replayed it inside of our head 100 times, right? Versus focusing on all the positive things that people were saying. So when that happens, I want you guys to look at that positive side, and I want you to remind yourself of all the people that you're helping because of the value you're adding. Now, we also have Sam here. Now, Ashley, your wife, became a part of our community in the Insider Secrets Club. She decided that she was going to spread the word by live streaming, and you helped her to be able to get that set up. And now you've been a member of our community since September. You are our in-house tech guy. Ooh, we all need a tech guy, don't we? So he is our tech guy here, and he also helps and serves the tutors in our community, and he's an active community member. What has your experience being part of this community been like for you?
Well, the first question is, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you just fine.
Good. Okay, so sometimes being a tech guy means that your tech doesn't work all the time. And so that's one way that I've helped people, is by saying, sometimes your stuff doesn't work and you just don't have to panic, right? But yeah, it's been really great being able to kind of come in and see this passionate group of tutors and be able to help with the technology side, because at the end of the day, like, almost everybody that I've met are great teachers and they need help with the tech and with the marketing. And so this team that you've put together has been invaluable, I think, for a lot of people. So that's been really cool.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to be a part of that.
You bring up a really good point, and there is something that we do have to kind of keep in mind, is we have to be problem solvers when it comes to tech, right? Tech is going to have problems. So like those of you who are afraid of the problems, don't be afraid of the problems. Be afraid of being closed-minded to not thinking about how to solve those problems, all right? Be open-minded and think about, okay, how can I solve this? And some of your tricks may be like the craziest tricks you've ever tried in your life that you think aren't going to work, and then they work, and you're like, oh, well, look at that. That worked. Like I didn't have my sound working one day with one of my students. I don't know if it was me. I don't know if it was them. No, they could hear me. I couldn't hear them. They came up with this tech idea. They said, how about we call you since we can see your screen? So I set up my headphones to be connected to my phone so I could hear them, and we had the lesson as if nothing was even wrong. It was unbelievable. So
Yep.
things are going to happen. You just got to stay open-minded about how to solve the different problems. Or even like people in our community, they'll put in like, how do I solve this problem? And there's like Sam, he's like responding right away. So thank you. We appreciate that.
Oh, no problem. Unfortunately, there's so many things where it's like, oh gosh, there could be so many reasons why this is not working. And so we're not always able to figure them out, but typically a lot of the time you restart your computer or restart your program and you're good to go. So,
Or
it
with
can be
Zoom,
yeah, yeah.
check for an update.
hmm
Zoom's not working. Check for an update.
True story, happened to me last night.
Happened to me 2 weeks ago. If anybody was here on the live, you saw our tech
Oh,
issues
yeah.
that we were having. I don't know if it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, and then all of a sudden I looked.
Right.
There's an update. Oh, I updated. I shut down my computer. I loaded it all back up. Boom, no tech
Yep.
problem. Look at that.
True.
Yeah. So it's awesome. Oh, another great tip for you guys, since we're just talking about tip. You had taught me this idea, which I had never even really thought of before and wouldn't have implemented if it wasn't for you. And it's saving my life today. It is the Ethernet cable. So why should
Mm-hmm.
people be hooked up right now to their Ethernet cable versus using the Wi-Fi in their house to tutor?
Yeah, absolutely. So I just did a call actually on the Insider Secrets Club, which Joanne runs. So if you're not a part of that, you should, because you get valuable stuff like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're getting it here today, so you're very lucky. So one of the things that I realized was that, we don't live in an Ethernet world anymore. We live in a world where everybody's on Wi-Fi, and a lot of people don't even have a computer, and half of those that do, they don't have the Ethernet port to plug in. So what this means is that when everything is going over wireless, there's a whole lot of shenanigans happening in the background, up to and including things like Netflix or those guys paying your internet provider to send their signal through ahead of anything else, right? Because a place like Netflix, for example, wants people to stream uninterrupted, right? So what this can mean is, especially now when everybody's quarantined and everybody's home, you might have 3, 4, 5 times the amount of people on your network, and you only have so much signal that can go around. And within that signal, only, it gets prioritized in different ways. So if you're all on Wi-Fi, you might not have the most stable connection. You might
Mm-hmm.
be tutoring or trying to do your work, and you might be having issues that you don't normally have.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're able to connect your device directly to your router through an Ethernet cable, um, you will have the most stable signal that you can get, and you will have obviously the priority signal. So if the kids are home and they are taking a break from whatever online schooling they're doing or homeschooling that they're doing, and they're watching Netflix, you're still going to have a good signal. And the only thing you might have to worry about is them being like, "Mom, Dad, my show isn't working." And be like, I'm teaching. But you're not going to have any interruptions. And so, yeah, that's really important. And that's one of those things that you learn when you're doing online business, and especially online content creation, is that having the most stable connection possible can literally save you money.
Yeah. Do you remember when I was
Clients
live
and all,
streaming in
yeah.
the beginning and my lips would be moving at a different speed as my voice?
Yep.
I mean, I have no idea if it was like my computer or what still today. I mean, I do have a new computer since then, but I don't have the issue anymore. So
No, yeah, you since you plugged in, since you got the Surface Dock or whatever, it's been a lot better. So yeah.
it has. It's definitely made my life a lot easier. So
Hmm.
what did it look for you guys when you guys started putting the pieces of live streaming in place? What did it look
Yep.
like in your home?
Yeah. So, well, it was actually really great for me because I had come to live streaming through gaming, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of the people that I had been interacting with were live streaming. And so, they had the good cameras and the microphones and everything. And I was like, I want all this stuff. And Ashley was like, we don't need any of this, right? But then she starts live streaming, and all of a sudden I'm like, no, see, we do need this stuff. So for us, it really changed in the sense that, you know, a lot of people will casually live stream maybe from their phone or tablet or whatever now and then. But when you're starting to do it in a professional capacity, you start to learn areas where you can improve, right?
Mm-hmm.
So right now I have a green screen behind me. This is not my beautiful residence, by the way. You can tell because there's a Mac, and I would never have a Mac, but
Ah!
that's,
And neither
and
do I. This is not my real
right.
background, and neither is Suzanne's. That is not her
Yep.
regular
Yep.
background.
And so that can obviously enhance the experience for your viewers. I have a light over there shining on me. I have a light over here shining on me. I have my window over here, and I have a light behind me, but I haven't turned it on because lighting is incredibly important. So I've got a whole studio lighting kit. I've got a green screen. I've got more computer technology than you would believe. I do, believe it or not, have the same microphone that Joanne is using. I just don't have it set up right now because we're moving in a week. But microphone, yes, microphone equipment, and all kinds of stuff. So we started really having a tech explosion in our house, which was exciting. It isn't always necessary, but because Ashley and I are so dependent on live streaming and creating online content, for us it was a priority.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I didn't, until I decided to turn some of this stuff into a podcast. I actually wasn't even using a mic, so it's not like like I don't think that you need all of these tools in order to do an effective live stream. But you will find, okay, how do I take my live streaming to a more professional level? Because at the end of the day, you get to control people's first impressions, right? So we all know how important first impressions are to people when they meet us in person, and we try to, beef up our appearance. But what about our professional first impressions online, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, it definitely makes a difference. And so Ashley has been doing this with her reading tutoring business. Has she been able to get any clients through live streaming?
Yes, in fact, almost exclusively. So the story with Ashley and her business was that when she left the school system, as many teachers do, honestly, that have kids, right? It was, that lifestyle and that pace was kind of just killing her, and so she came home. And at first we decided she was going to stay home, be the stay-at-home mom kind of thing, right? But that doesn't work usually in America, right? We don't,
Mm-hmm.
that's just not going to work. People need to work and earn money. And so she started to um, get involved with the online fitness community and learned a ton about online marketing, live streaming in particular. And as you alluded to earlier, Joanne, you know, it you don't want to come across as salesy, right? You don't want to come across as trying to push something on somebody that they don't want. And so one of the things that she learned through this whole process was that, when you and I'm glad that you use this term a lot during this live stream already, but when you add value to somebody's life, it's almost worse if you don't share about that and you don't let people know that you can add value, because
Right.
that's a good thing. And so live streaming was so important. And so throughout this process, she had built up this group of people that were turning to her, watching her live streams, because she was authentic, because she was doing things that brought value. So when she started getting into the online tutoring business, that people she already had a following.
Mm-hmm.
And when she was able to take her knowledge, all the stuff that she learned from education, all the stuff that she learned through everything else, and start putting that into a value add for somebody through live streaming, it exploded. I mean, we
Mm.
went from, I think she had 2 students in February to something like 10 or 15 in April.
Mm-hmm.
And it was mid-February, right? So in a month and a half, she went from basically to a full-time income. And for us, 15 is about, you know, the spot that works for us, but she probably could have gotten more, right? And it was no advertising, no paid marketing, simply online organic reach through primarily Facebook, um, but through social media. And a lot of that was through, excuse me, through live streaming.
Wow, that is incredible. Now, I'm not sure if Kathy lost sound because there's something wrong on your side. I can hear you just perfectly. Um, yeah, it
Well,
looks like
Kathy's on a Mac, so
oh, oh, there you go, there you go. So we're not going to, we're not going to go there, guys. We're not going to go there. But I do want you guys to know, what are your thoughts? Why should people attend our marathon tomorrow?
yeah, I mean, again, it all comes down to value, right? It's one of these things where when you have the opportunity to take advantage of free training, free knowledge that's legitimately going to add value to your life, especially right now when we're seeing the value of being able to provide online services, it's more valuable than ever. It's more important than ever. It would be a shame if you missed out on something I think, as good as what's going to be offered tomorrow, because you can't get this stuff for free anywhere else. And you can't get it as cheap as a lot of this stuff is going to be available. I shouldn't say cheap because that makes it sound bad, but so much of this is going to be affordable. So much of it, whether it is training now, tomorrow, whether it is signing up later for some of the courses that we have, it's incredibly valuable.
Yeah.
And you're getting it at such a good price that it doesn't make sense to skip it.
Yeah, for sure.
Plus, also, I want to see Joanne go from 11 to 5 or whatever she said she's going to do, all in one shot. So, because I feel like she's going to have to buy all the energy drinks that are near her. And so I think it's valuable.
How many
just
kids
for
could
that.
I go through? 1.
Right.
2.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
We're bringing the monster tomorrow, you guys. We're bringing the monster.
It's like, hold on, guys. Bathroom break. I'll be right back. It's like, oh God. Yeah.
There will be some of that going on, just so you know, because look, I'm
Yeah.
human. I'm human for sure. Well, you guys,
Yep.
I am excited to be able to do the marathon tomorrow. It will be very interesting. We're gonna see how it goes, and just so you know too, we do have that special going on with, if you do need one-on-one help, we do have right now, we're offering the 50% off links for you, and Beth is gonna plug those on in so that you can see them. And just know that we are here to serve you. This isn't a price gouging thing. We've actually cut it by half, just so that you guys know, because we know that more of you need. Some of you are going to do great with the free content we provide. Others of you are going to do great with the group content that we provide, and others of you are going to need more hand holding. So we're trying to support you in all levels that you need. So thanks for hanging out with you guys. I hope you attend live tomorrow and come join us. Until then, use the bathroom as much as you need to, but don't use all the toilet paper. Okay, guys? All right.
Yes.
Bye, everyone.
Cheers, everyone.
Bye-bye.